In this video, I've compiled a selection of 10 new TV series. The collection turned out to be thematic, so prepare for plenty of detective, crime, and action content. The Regime, a political satire centered around a small, fictional European country governed by Chancellor Elena, played by Kate Winslet. Elena embodies all the traits of a tyrant. With paranoia at an all-time high, the heads of her subjects roll off at an alarming rate. The country is small, and its economy is weak, with its only asset being cobalt deposits, coveted by the USA. Elena is nearly ready to sign a contract under less than favorable terms for the country. But at the last moment, she refuses and breaks all ties with the USA, wishing to remain poor but independent. Meanwhile, uprisings and rebellions flare up due to poverty and monstrous working conditions in the mines. The series' second main character is Herbert, a corporal once punished for his cruel methods and bloodthirstiness. He finds a way into the paranoid, distrustful Elena's heart, gains her trust, and becomes her first advisor and friend. The series reveals where this unhealthy duo will lead the country. Death and other details. Imogen is vacationing on a cruise ship filled with high-ranking and wealthy individuals, all there for one important deal. But 2 days in, a guest's corpse is discovered in a cabin. Detective Rufus, who happens to be on board, immediately takes the case. He is the same detective who long ago promised to help Imogen with an investigation, whom she now despises. She quickly becomes the prime suspect in the murder, forcing her to cooperate with Rufus to clear her name. Soon, it becomes apparent that almost everyone on board could have had a motive to kill the victim. The series turned out quite well with its dynamic narrative, good visuals, and complicated plot that keeps you watching. Furies, a French crime action series starring a young girl named Lena, who lives a happy life as her father is a mafia accountant. He provides her with a luxurious home and expensive gifts. But when her father is murdered, her life is instantly consumed by the desire for revenge. Until now, Lena had never crossed paths with the criminal world, but now she has no choice. We follow the main character's actions as she plans and gradually tracks down the criminals. The concept might have been good, but in my opinion, the execution was superficial and hollow. There's a lot of meaningless shooting and weak dialogue, yet the cinematography is decent, providing dynamic visuals. Tracker. The series is about Coulter, who travels the country in his old van, earning by helping to investigate crimes and other complex, mysterious cases. He acquired these specific detective skills in early childhood from his unconventional father. Coulter spends his days assisting police and private individuals in finding people, seeing his own past pain in all the missing persons cases that will gradually be revealed to us. Essentially, he's the perfect lone hero who can find a way with any lady, negotiate with any villain, and if necessary, easily deal with a gang of bandits. Tracker doesn't pretend to offer hidden messages or deep philosophy. Manhunt, a mini-series based on the story of the assassination of the 16th President of the U.S., Abraham Lincoln. Anthony Boyle plays John Booth, who, in front of theater spectators, shoots Lincoln and then disappears, now being pursued by Edwin Stanton, a lawyer and Secretary of War, who will not stop until the perpetrator is punished. Manhunt blends thriller, historical drama, and a touch of documentary thriller about the conspiracy and the 12-day hunt for the killer, brilliantly showing the public's reaction and the consequences of the president's assassination against the backdrop of the 19th century, along with excellent cinematography that immerses you in that era and creates its own atmosphere. Mano de Hierro, a Spanish crime thriller. At the beginning, we are presented with grim statistics. A cargo container arrives at the port of Barcelona, where only 2% undergo selective inspection, yet tons of drugs are seized annually by police and customs. Spain is simply a drug haven, and Barcelona is the main transit point through which drugs enter Europe directly from Latin American countries. The plot revolves around the drug empire created by Joaquin Monchado. Everything was going well for him, until one shipment nearly brought his empire to the brink. Moreover, not only was he in danger, but so was his business and his entire family. Pyramido Game. The main character, Sun Suji, is used to constantly moving and changing schools due to her father's job. Over her school years, she has become so accustomed to oddities and the environment around her that it no longer scares her. The thing is, the entire class votes in an app each month. The essence of the game is that those who don't get enough votes end up in the loser class F, while those with the most votes enter the untouchable Class A. These abuses of the losers are far from harmless and harm mental health, all while happening in front of other students. Discovering she'll have to stay at this school for a long time, Son Suji decides to fight this cruel game. Her first step is to find allies who might help her get out of Class F. Whether she succeeds, we'll find out in the series. The New Look. The narrative centers around two main competitors, Christian Dior and Coco Chanel. The action unfolds in 1955, when Chanel plans to return to Paris, while Dior is forced to answer uncomfortable questions about collaborating with the German occupiers during World War II after his shows. Following one such question, the story throws us back to 1943, where Dior tries to protect his sister Catherine from the dire consequences of participating in resistance actions. At the same time, Chanel saves her nephew from Nazi captivity and then falls into the arms of a German spy. Later, a third time period is added to the two, 1943 and 1955, when in 1947, Dior will open his own fashion house. The series mostly bets on the psychological portraits of the heroes, temporarily leaving fashion matters aside. However, as a downside, I must point out that this is a series about fashion where there is practically no fashion, which was essentially the lifeblood of Chanel and Dior, and was actually the subject of their rivalry. Three Body Problem. The series, based on the novel by Chinese sci-fi writer Liu Cixin, tells the story of a Chinese woman who establishes the first contact with an extraterrestrial intelligence. Simultaneously, it shows how, in our time, a series of mysterious suicides occur among astrophysicists, scientific laboratories are shut down, and a strange stellar phenomenon is observed in the sky. But just when the three-body problem seems predictable and boring, an unexpected twist occurs. The enemy reveals itself and its plans. All of humanity learns that a collision with an alien civilization is inevitable. Earth is in danger, and our heroes begin to search for radical ways to win, which is nearly impossible. As a result, we get a quality and somewhat dynamic sci-fi miniseries, not overloaded with historical and scientific details. The Gentleman. The main character, Eddie, a captain in the British Army, is serving in the Middle East. However, he comes from a wealthy English duke on his deathbed. Because of this, Eddie has to fly home to say goodbye to his father. After the funeral, the will is read. Although Eddie is the younger son, his older brother Freddie is a typical loser, a drug addict, and generally involved with the criminal world, which is why, by the father's will, everything unexpectedly goes to the main character. The next day, an attractive blue-eyed brunette named Susie, who introduces herself as his father's business partner, appears at his doorstep. It turns out that the land houses laboratories for growing marijuana. Gradually getting his bearings, Eddie learns that his brother owes London criminals £4 million sterling and tries his best to protect Freddie, involving Susie, with whose help he tries to negotiate with the creditors. At the same time, he attempts to negotiate with Susie herself about gradually exiting this business. The only problem is that Freddie is utterly unwilling to agree to the terms outlined, and then he completely breaks down, forcing Eddie to get deeply involved in this business and start playing his own game. I hope each of you has found something new for yourself in this episode, and if not, write in the comments which series you would add to this collection. If you liked the video, don't forget to put a like, subscribe to the channel, and click on the bell. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.